Shabbat Shalom. There is a street in Copenhagen, Dagen. Take two. Shabbat Shalom. It's being recorded, so we need to cut it and edit, okay? Ivan will edit it out. There is a street in Copenhagen, Denmark, whose name I do not know. And there is a place in my heart that I still cannot find. That place is forgiveness, and I am at the intersection. So let me tell you what happened on that street. This summer, we were privileged to take our children overseas. We got in a taxi just like we had 10 or 15 or 20 times before throughout the week. As we were driving, one of my kids said to the other, "You remember that time when we went to Israel?" Boom! I felt the weight of the car move forward as the cab driver slammed on his brakes. Get out. What do you mean, get out? Get out. I'm not completing the ride. The road is closed up ahead. Now, thank God Joanna was with me, because she always says to me that the safest thing to do is to walk away. I'm not very good at doing that. So I won't tell you what I told the taxi driver. Maybe if you have a few l'chaims after and you get me drunk, I'll tell you everything. So we literally got out in the middle of the road. And as we gathered our children, he looked at us and in Danish said, "Jew." Then, with my children standing right behind the car, he put the car in reverse. Now, I've tried to forgive him because I believe that people can actually change, that no door is ever completely closed. And yet, when I reached inside of me for that part that could forgive this man, my hand closed nothing, opened nothing. Perhaps you know the feeling too. Maybe you have searched for a room in your own heart, waiting to open it, and found it dark, or bolted, or simply not there. And that's exactly where this week's Torah portion, the double portion of Ma'atot and Maseh, meets us. The book of Bamidbar ends with a list of journeys. Ele Ma'aseh B'nai Yisrael. These are the journeys of the children of Israel. Not my journey, not your journey, our journey. 42 stations throughout the wilderness. Every place we camped, every place we rested, every place we suffered, every place we had to move on. Standing on that unfamiliar street, it felt as though we had stepped onto the 43rd station of that journey. For one brief moment, I thought I understood exile. Not as history, but as a lived experience. To be far from home, to be told to leave, to gather our children and begin walking because there was nothing else to do. There's one name, one place in the Torah that tops the list. A place called Refidim. What happened at Refidim? Israel is attacked simply for being the people of Israel. Amalek comes after the weary, the vulnerable, the ones at the back of the camp. And we know that hatred has worn many faces since then. I'm not saying every anti-Semite, every run-of-the-mill Jew-hater is Amalek. What I am suggesting is that every generation recognizes something tragically familiar when Jews are targeted simply for being Jews. But you know what's also interesting about Refidim? It's also remembered for something else. It is where Moses learns that he cannot do it alone. His arms grow heavy, and every time they fall, the battle turns against Israel. So Aaron and Hur, they stand on either side of him and hold up his arms until the sun goes down. The place of an attack also becomes the place of the lesson. None of us holds up our own arms. None of us crosses the wilderness alone. Now, I'm not going to stand here and pretend that I was so brave. In fact, I was exhausted, frightened, and in a way, I still have nightmares. So you do the only thing that there is to do when you're standing at a crossroads, when you're standing at Rephidim. You pick up your children and you tell them, it's okay. I've got you. We're okay. And somewhere in the middle of saying those words, something changes. A small hand wraps around your finger. A child presses into your shoulder. The children you were trying to steady become the ones who steady you. The wilderness that many people, many Jews face in this world is real. And we make it through when we make it through together. You see, we don't erase the hard places. We don't forget the bad memory. We remember them because those are the places where we held and steadied each other. You know, Judaism's answer to a situation like that isn't violence. It's not revenge. It's justice. It's the creation of a society where life is protected, where rage is restrained, where guilt is established carefully, and where the vulnerable can find shelter. You know, for weeks I carried the guilt of a person who found it hard to forgive, as though this was some kind of failure. But our tradition doesn't ask us to pretend that repentance has happened when it hasn't. So we can't stop punishing ourselves for the doors we didn't lock. Our task is not to force forgiveness. Our task is to refuse hatred a permanent home in our own hearts. That's the narrow bridge. Not excusing evil, not forgetting what happened to our ancestors, not calling hatred a misunderstanding, but refusing to carry it forward and give it permission. Aaron held his brother Moses. A child held a parent in Copenhagen. Millions of Jews have held each other throughout the generations. And every one of us is, at different moments, both the one carrying and the one being carried. The journeys of Israel do not end in the wilderness. They end at the edge of the Jordan, when the people, still together, face home. So whatever narrow place we are standing in tonight, and this room, we know that some of us are. Whether it's a major health crisis, a relationship that's ended, a person you simply can't face, let us remember this. It's the 43rd station. It's not the final destination. And none of us was ever meant to cross it alone. When you walk through the storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver song of the Lord. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, oh, your dreams